YouTube, it's Eleanor here, and today I'm doing an about a book video. Full disclosure, this book was sent to me directly from the publisher, and I am part of the blog vlog tour for this book, which is the first time I've done anything like this. The publisher asked if I'd like to be part of the author's blog vlog tour, and of course I said yes, that sounds really exciting. So I am going to be reviewing today Did I Mention I Love You by Estelle Maskame. Now this book, let me tell you a little bit about the author and the origins of this book first, and then we'll get into a little bit about the synopsis and my thoughts. I didn't realise this when I was reading it actually, because I have a habit, you get sort of a bump fee thing sent to you by the publisher when you get an ARC, and often I don't read it because I don't want to spoil myself too much. But after I'd finished reading this book, I read through it just to sort of get myself prepared for this review, and also to sort of pull my thoughts together. And I didn't realise that Estelle Maskame wrote this originally in parts on Wattpad. So she was a Wattpad sensation. What I really found amazing was that she started writing this when she was 13, and she's only 17 now. She is so young and so accomplished to have her first book already out. This was published last week, I believe, on the 1st of July. And she, as I say, wrote it on Wattpad first. She's got a massive Twitter following, and I just think that's amazing for a girl so young to have accomplished. Having a book published is just phenomenal. So let's talk a little bit about the book. This is the first book in the DIMILY trilogy, which Did I Mention I Love You? And it is set in Hollywood, in LA, in Santa Monica to be exact. And it's about a young girl called Eden who goes to spend the summer with her dad. She hasn't seen her dad for 3 years since he left her mum. He hasn't been in contact, but he's asked her to spend the summer with him and his new family. He's remarried and she has 3 stepbrothers. And the basic premise of this book is to do with a relationship that forms between Eden and the oldest stepbrother, Tyler. The 2 stepchildren are very, very different in their thoughts and views and upbringing, and it's about a relationship that forms and what goes from there. I don't want to say too much else because I don't want to spoil anything. So let's move on to my thoughts on the book. The first point I should make is that I read this in one sitting. I couldn't put it down. I wanted to know what was going on, and it was a compulsive read. I read this in one sitting and I couldn't stop. I just wanted to finish the story. One thing I found with this story is that it had really interesting family dynamics. Often in YA books, I feel that you don't see the family as much. I feel it's very concentrated on the teenagers and you don't see the parents. Sometimes I wonder if parents exist. And in this book, you do. You see the family dynamic, and that's a very big part of the story. And it also involves something that I haven't seen very much. I'm sure there are plenty of books, but it's not something that I've come across before, in terms of stepchildren and their relationships, and also the dynamic between the stepchildren and their step-parent, and just trying to find out where you fit and what type of person you want to grow into. Now, I'm obviously a little bit older than the demographic for this book, and I definitely think that it probably suits a younger YA audience, given that the author herself wrote this when she was younger. It has a younger feel to it. I really enjoyed the sense of place that was given within this book. I felt like I was in LA, which I really enjoyed, and having been to Los Angeles myself and visited a lot of the places that were mentioned, I really liked that part of it. It sort of took me back to when I was on holiday there, which was great. And I liked that you got a feel of how teenagers and young adults live now, and you know, I'm not saying that I'm old and I don't remember being young, but things do change, and teenagers today are very different to teenagers when I was a teenager. And so I really felt like I got more of an insight into and how that worked. One thing I did have a little bit of trouble with was how the parents reacted and treated their children when they'd done something wrong, or, you know, when they'd stayed out all night and they hadn't told them where they were. And I'm not sure, I think for me, it would have felt unrealistic had I not thought, well, perhaps, you know, I'm not in the situation, I've never been in the situation with step parents, so possibly, you know, and fathers that are trying to sort of make it up with their children, perhaps this is quite a normal way to behave and to sort of parent, or possibly it's not, and that's part of what's going on in this story to sort of, you know, around these children. It's difficult to explain, but because I don't want to tell you too much about the plot, because I don't want to ruin it. But I really enjoyed it, and it was definitely one of those books that sort of grown on me since reading it. I have, you know, especially obviously I've been thinking about it for the review and mulling over some of the things that happened, and yeah, I really enjoyed this book. It was a really good read. As I say, I think it's probably targeted a little bit younger in terms of the YA that I read. But as I say, I couldn't put it down, and I really enjoyed reading it. And I definitely think that if you like contemporary YA books, then you're really going to enjoy this. And I gave it 3 stars. And I definitely recommend that you pick it up and read it at the moment. It's a really good summer read. It did evoke that feeling of, you know, the beach and the sun and summer, and it's set over 8 weeks in the summer, so it's perfect to read when you're on the beach in your summer school holidays. So yeah, I definitely recommend giving this one a go, and thank you so much to the publisher for sending it to me. I'm looking forward to reading the next 2 in this trilogy as and when they come out. So that's my review of Did I Mention I Love You, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video soon. Bye for now, BookTube.